And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Sunday, November 17th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a web page with a map of the continental U.S., and Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left, and then tabs for the territories. If you point and click anywhere on this map, it'll give a very specific forecast for any location in the nation, including any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. And a quick check of the map on this Sunday afternoon. Of note, we have an area of low pressure developing in the southern plains. It could bring heavy rainfall that leads to flooding. Flood watches parts of the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma. Farther north, we have some colder air coming into the Pacific Northwest. There are winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories for the mountains there of Idaho, western Wyoming, Montana, and back toward the Cascades. And then down here in the Big Valley of California, there is a freeze watch because with the system pulling through, that is going to bring some much colder temperatures. Here in Alaska, we're going to get our taste of some winter weather. Certainly some of the coldest temperatures we've seen so far early this winter season up there across areas of the central and eastern interior. Strong gusty winds are going to cause ground blizzard conditions, the eastern Beaufort Sea, Point Thompson, Kaktovik here as we go through tonight and into the day tomorrow. Winter weather advisory for blowing snow in the Alaska range. Winds will be gusty there as well. And this Arctic high pressure will build from the western North Slope down toward the Yukon Territory. And as this happens, it's going to set the stage for some of the coldest nighttime temperatures we've seen so far early this season, 20s and 30s below. And then there is a winter storm watch for the western northern Seward Peninsula all the way up through Point Lay and the western Brooks Range for later Monday night, Tuesday into Wednesday, as a strong system will be working its way across the eastern Asian continent up into eastern Russia, and that's going to bring a surge of milder air with wind. But when that encounters the cold air over the northwest mainland, it's going to start out as snow, and that could lead to blizzard conditions. Now, Wales, light snow and blowing snow this Sunday afternoon, 16 degrees. Conditions there will further deteriorate, especially Monday night into Tuesday. We expect blizzard conditions where there is a winter storm watch for the Wales area. That would also include places like Steller and Shishmaref, going all around Kotzebue on up to Point Hope, Cape Lisburne, and Point Lay, and then south to just west of Nome. Nome right now mostly cloudy, 12 degrees this Sunday afternoon. You're going to see a burst of snow and wind that then the precipitation as the warmer air comes in on behind that. You can see the precipitation mixed with some freezing rain, sleet, or just plain old rain as temperatures by Tuesday in Nome rise back up around or just above freezing. Now, farther inland, with this Arctic high pressure building southeastward into the Yukon Territory, it's going to set the stage for very cold nights coming up here tonight and into Monday morning. We're looking for lows 25, 30 below. Right now, there's a thin veil of high clouds, but those will be clearing out, and we're looking at a very cold 2-3 nights coming up here through the early week. The misty fjords there in the southern portion of the Panhandle, living up to its name, kind of a misty, overcast, 38 degrees, and there still are some areas of light rain and rain showers lingering in the southern Panhandle. We got some snow higher up toward the coastal mountains where the air is a little colder, a little further north and east there through the Panhandle. One other thing is we are seeing now temperatures get colder in the stratosphere. That's the layer above the troposphere. The troposphere is where most of the sensible weather occurs, the clouds, the precipitation that you see. But nacreous clouds or polar stratospheric clouds, they are the second highest clouds within the atmosphere of Earth. They're sometimes called mother of pearl clouds, and they are in the wintertime stratosphere. We're seeing temperatures now cool down to about 78 below centigrade, which is, they form starting about there. And as you get 80 degrees, 85 below Celsius, that's like 112 below Fahrenheit, 9 to 16 miles above the surface. That's enough for trace amounts of water, ice, and nitric acid to formulate these clouds. They're very beautiful. And so we're just entering this coming week, maybe just start to see cold enough temperatures in the stratosphere for these clouds to form in some areas. Typically, we see reports coming in out of northern Europe, and certainly Alaska is in a position to see these. We're going to have some stormy weather this week across northern areas of the state, so that'll be doubtful. But again, once skies clear out and we get a little further along in the early winter season, that's something you may want to watch out for. If you get a photograph, please send it along. I'd like to see that. I'd definitely show it on the show. Looking here, we have blizzard warning for Point Thompson, Kaktovik, Decarnation Bay. This area here is seeing strong gusty winds creating ground blizzard conditions. That'll be tonight into Monday evening. South here across the Alaska Range, winds are going to pick up and there could be blowing snow, so there's a winter weather advisory for these higher terrain here through the Alaska Range as a result of those winds. And then to the west, we're going to have a system come up across eastern Russia, and as it does so, it's going to bring a surge of snow and wind initially, because the air is cold initially over this area. It's a push of warmer air with plenty of moisture. And so it's going to arrive Monday night here in western northern Seward Peninsula, quickly expand northeastward. I think some of the heaviest snow is going to fall there just north of Kotzebue, the southwest slopes of the Brooks Range, places like Selawik on up to Red Dog Mine, Noatak, Kivalina could really get hit hard with blizzard conditions, 6 to 12 inches of snow, winds gusting 40, 50 miles an hour. And then we're also going to have some strong winds. Point Hope, Wales could gust 60, 70 miles an hour with snow. So the blizzard conditions are very possible there as we go through late Monday night, Tuesday, and even lingering into Wednesday, because that moisture will work its way eastward as snow and blowing snow as we go through midweek on Wednesday. So stay tuned to later forecasts, because this will likely be updated to some sort of warnings and advisories. So looking at the satellite imagery, we have low pressure sitting over the northern Gulf this Sunday afternoon. We still have some areas of light rain showers over the panhandle at sea level and in through the coastal and intercoastal mountains. It's in the form of some snow. You can see the notice the popcorn appearance of the clouds. These are convective clouds because it's unstable to have cold air coming in over the relatively warmer waters of the Gulf and North Pacific. That extends all the way back up along the west side of the state. But this white, brighter cloud top signals the cloud shield, high-level clouds associated with the next storm system. And so here we have the low this Sunday afternoon, 986 millibars. It's going to be heading southeastward and weakening. Meanwhile, this high pressure up over the north slope is going to strengthen. It's going to build southeastward and be located over the southern Yukon territory by Tuesday. And we're going to see central pressure rise to about 1050 millibars. That's why it's going to get so cold here across the central eastern interior along the Alcan border. We're going to see temperatures easily around 35 below zero, especially Monday night into Tuesday morning. Meanwhile, this low is going to cut across eastern Russia, and this frontal system, this windy frontal system, has a lot of moisture with it. As that hits the North Bering Sea through the Bering Strait and then up here along the Seward Peninsula, northwest areas, western Brooks Range, that's going to bring heavier snowfall and strong winds, creating blizzard or near blizzard conditions late Monday night into Tuesday. So later tonight into Monday morning, here's the low beginning to slowly fill in the Gulf, heading south-southeastward. High pressure building 1032 millibars, western part of the Brooks Range and north slope. And then by the time we get into Monday afternoon, the high continues to build, crossing the Brooks Range. The low continues to sink a little further south-southeast back toward the North Pacific. This is going to allow skies to further clear in the interior. Back to the west, here's this low. Not especially strong in terms of just depth, but it's the wind field associated, very strong jet stream aloft, helping to drive these winds and moisture northeastward rather quickly, so that late Monday night into Tuesday morning, we're going to see along this front a push of heavier snowfall with strong winds leading to blizzard or near blizzard conditions. And then once the warmer air tries to push inland, at least along the west coast, we could see a little mix of precipitation, a little freezing rain or sleet or just plain old rain along areas like Nome down toward Emonic and along Norton Sound. Temperatures could get back up just a bit above freezing on Tuesday afternoon, but this system, as it works its way eastward, will continue to produce some snow and blowing snow through the central northern interior areas along the north slope. So just pay attention to later forecasts. But there's that 1050 high Tuesday afternoon over the Yukon territory. So that really cold air is just going to be a brief period because this western storm is going to try to overrun some warmer air into the interior by midweek. So temperatures Monday morning, generally still above freezing, southern panhandle, though near freezing there, Wrangell and Petersburg, below freezing, Juneau, Skagway, Haines, 16 below. Look at that, up there in the Copper River Basin, 17 below, other side of the Alaska Range. Even single digits to near zero areas in and around Anchorage, especially the normally cold spots. Monday afternoon, warmest readings, southern panhandle, a few spots could be near 40, but generally at or below freezing once you get around Juneau northwestward. Probably not getting above zero in the Copper River Basin there at Glen Allen. 8 above Talkeetna, only lower teens there for Anchorage. And then here comes the cold temperatures. The coldest morning will probably be Tuesday morning. Could be near 30 below in some of the normally cold spots of the Copper River Basin, 25 below at McGrath, 11 below Talkeetna, at least 11, 15 below, and could even be a little below zero in Anchorage if you have clear skies and the winds really stay calm. We're looking at lows getting down into the lower mid-teens for the northern panhandle, maybe still holding out just above freezing, Klawak and Craig. But that would be the exception, even 22 down there to Kodiak City, 9 above or so, single digits above zero at Homer. And Tuesday afternoon highs stay below zero in the Copper River Basin, and maybe 40-ish there around Klawak and Craig, but only 20 in Juneau. And looking in the far north, this is where the cold will be. Tonight into Monday morning, 35 below Anatuvik Pass, Arctic Village, and potentially even down here toward Eagle. Just some very cold temperatures. And along the west coast, 10 above there at Wales, 14 at Savunga. You'll notice the milder air gusts start to come in from southwest to northeast. So high temperatures stay below zero across much of the central eastern interior on Monday afternoon. We do see highs maybe to about 22 at Wales, 28 there at Savunga. And then nighttime lows Tuesday night with that frontal system pushing in from the west. Still very cold here because that Arctic high is just building southeast to be located over the Yukon territory. So readings 30, 35 below will be very common. Fairbanks, Yukon Flats, Eagle, Northway, all those places 30 below or colder. And here along the west coast with that front coming in, 25 the low Tuesday morning. Temperature steady to slowly rising. And then look what happens Tuesday afternoon. We have the cold temperatures along the Alcan border, eastern interior, thanks to that Arctic high sitting over the Yukon. Meanwhile, the front comes inland with temperatures at or a few degrees above freezing over the western Seward Peninsula back towards St. Lawrence. So that's why there's that potential on the backside of the snow. There could be some mixed icy precipitation, including a little freezing rain and sleet or just plain old rain. And then for the southwest interior, cold tonight, readings below zero as you creep up the Yukon and Kuskokwim rivers, even along places like Dillingham, King Salmon, 8, 6 above. Just above freezing as we trail out along the Aleutians, mid-30s there. And then Monday afternoon, no real rise in the temperatures here in the upper Kuskokwim as you get up toward McGrath or Anvik, and it's just going to be cold. And then across areas of the Aleutians, we might see temperatures rising into the 40s here, especially in the Tuesday. Morning lows on Tuesday morning will come up slightly, at least here at Nunavik Island, 23, but still some very cold temperatures, 25 below McGrath. In the other side of the Alaska Range, the west and north of there are quite cold. Temperatures, though, by Tuesday do come back up along the west coast thanks to the influence of that storm just pulling that warmer air from off the North Pacific across the Bering. Should allow temperatures to get back up around or a few degrees above freezing. Nome, Imanik, down through Makoriak, and certainly creeping up the Alaska Peninsula. We could see some 40-degree readings here even in the eastern Aleutians, around Dutch Harbor, creeping up toward Cold Bay and False Pass. But here is the temperature outlook for November 23rd through the 27th. The greatest likelihood of below normal temperatures will be over the southeast, especially the Panhandle. Temperatures may be a little above normal, creeping up into the southwest and west, especially up the Yukon Valley, lower Yukon Valley, and back out toward the Aleutians, temperatures could be above normal. That just indicates that we're having some sort of feed storm tracks kind of taking things like this up into the west and northern parts of the state, whereas high pressure ridge that's going to be building up into the Alaska Peninsula this coming week is going to bring for drier conditions. So we're looking at between now and Thanksgiving below normal precipitation along the Gulf Coast, southern mainland, and the Panhandle. Kind of unusual. We've been so wet for so long in these areas, but it's looking like a drier pattern, at least to take us up through Thanksgiving. Further north, though, we're going to have systems coming in out of the western Bering, crossing the Chukchi Sea, so there's a potential for precipitation, particularly in the form of snow averaging above normal, especially around the Brooks Range up through the North Slope and the Arctic coasts.